What's the best way to improve your game? I have some tips for you. What's going on YouTube? It's HTROUT11 back here with another video. MLB The Show 22 is no longer on early access. It is officially on all platforms. So if you're new to the game and need some advice on how to get better at the game, I have some tips for you today. Keep in mind that I play mostly Diamond Dynasty, so my settings and my mindset comes from the online perspective. But before we even get into a game, we first need to check our settings. I picked Hall of Fame because that's the difficulty I play on most, and I get practice by squaring up balls with smaller PCIs. Speaking of the PCI, I recommend using the zone hitting for your offensive interface over everything else. Zone will give you the control of the strike zone the most, and where the bat is actually going, opposed to something like directional, where you have to aim and hope where you hit the corners and time it right. So pick a hitting camera that you like the best. For me, it's strike zone, so I can track the ball, but that's up to you. And then get comfortable with the PCI and change the PCI to something that you like, with the shapes and the colors and all that. The middle, squares, diamonds, you pick, it's all up to you. Now for pitching, I highly recommend pinpoint pitching. This came out last year, and in my opinion, it completely changed the game. It made pitching effective again, and it made you more competitive when you made better competitive pitches on the corners than when you actually learn how to master the mechanic. Now finally, fielding, and there's not much to say about this one, but I will say, make sure you turn on the off-the-wall ribbon. Make sure you can properly read the balls off the wall, and then small things like the catch position indicator. I really hate the blue lines on the screen. I don't know why, it's just a me thing, but I really hate those blue lines, so I pick drifting ball to get the ball on the screen. And I turn off my auto shifts, so I don't make sure I give up any fluky singles and doubles and stuff like that down the line. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, it's time to talk about custom practice. We're going to start with offense, and this is still something that I can work on from time to time, so if you ever want to get better, come in here to custom practice, pick a pitcher you don't have a ton of success against, and then alternate hitters so you don't get a ton of the same swings against that same pitcher. I was working on PCI Anchor, which I think could be a pretty good addition to this game, so figure out what your weaknesses are as a player, and try to correct those in custom practice to make yourself a harder player to beat when you're online. It's also a good idea to change these pitchers back and forth. I didn't do that in these clips, but make sure you do that so it makes it a little bit easier for you on ranked seasons so you can get more practice on different arms, different releases, and stuff like that. Hitting this game is the #1 tool to be successful, especially in online play, so figure out what you're bad at and try to correct those as best as you can. And if you want to get into true authentic feel of what Diamond Dynasty games actually feel like during custom practice, I would suggest making some rosters with the players that you struggle against and the players you like to use. Make the attributes and pitch types close to what the online actually is, and then boost up the pitch speed sliders so that the pitches can come in faster and it feels like a true online ranked seasons game. It was pretty difficult at first actually, but if you can master those tough speeds, then you should be okay on online play. Now let's talk about some pitching practice. Pitching practice is basically all about focusing on pinpoint. Focus on some of the harder things and pitch types like circle changes and the off-speed pitches. Some of those are hard too, but one thing I'll say about pitching online is don't be too predictable with your pitch types and your locations. If you throw the same pitch to start off an at-bat over and over again, your opponents will pick up on that and start to just tee off on you. Try to keep the hitters off balance and guessing, just like in real-life baseball. Another good idea is to make a pitch look like a different pitch in the same part of the strike zone by pitch tunneling. For example, if you throw some off-speed pitches down and in, down and away, you want to try to follow with a fastball in the same location, so the hitters will think it's an off-speed pitch coming at you, but really it's a fastball, and it'll just hit the strike zone, and they won't even realize it's a fastball until they already took it, so it's game over. But don't overuse that, or they'll catch up to you also, and then they'll make you pay for it in the long run. And now, finally, let's talk about some defensive practice, and this is really for the newer players. But if you struggle with some situational defense, there's also some takeaways for this too. This year they added ways to practice defense, so if you wanted to come in here and work on your situational plays or your perfect throws to every base, you could do that. And this might seem stupid to you, but sometimes a game will come down to a perfect throw. So if you can perfectly throw your throws every time, one game or more throughout the year will be decided on just that play alone, and it'll change the entire game. So don't be afraid to get on that practice field and implement changes to make yourself better for the rest of the season. So there you have it, guys, my tips to help you become better at MLB The Show 22. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button and sub to the channel if you're new. Hit the notification bell so you know every time I post one of these videos. And drop me a comment about what you might want to see this year on the channel. Maybe it'll show up in one of these videos, you never know. I appreciate you all for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace out.